Hello, welcome to Tutorials with Tori. Today we're going to be working with our Pixie Dust yarn, and this is a really great chenille yarn with a subtle iridescent sparkle, so it is so fun for the little ones and still super soft against their skin. So you can see here, hold it up to the light and let it sparkle a little bit for you. It's very subtle, but gives it just that fun little glimmer. And today we are going to be making our little bear hat in the Pixie Dust yarn. So I'll show you what you need to do that. All right, so for our little bear hat, you're going to need a ball of pixie dust in the color of your choice. The pattern on the site is shown here in our sky. And today I'm going to be making it in fairy pink, just so you could see that hat in a different color. And then you need your basic always tools, pair of scissors, a tape measure. That's going to be good for both measuring the fit if you're checking the head size. Now this pattern comes in newborn, baby, toddler, and child. So it fits a pretty good range, basically from brand new all the way to teenager. And you'll also need a tapestry needle and a stitch marker because this hat is knit in the round. So that'll be to mark our beginning and end of round. And for the edging of the hat, it is worked on size 7 4.5 millimeter needles, and we're using I'm going to be using a 16-inch circular, and then after that we'll switch out to size 8s for the main body of the hat, and that's a US 8 5 millimeter needle. And for the crown shaping and making the ears, you'll need a set of size 8 5 millimeter double pointed needles. Now, if you are making the smaller sizes, it is easiest just to work the entire thing on double pointed needles since it's a smaller circumference. Or if you prefer, you can use a longer circular needle and do magic loop. Or one of my favorite methods is using 2 circular needles. So say 2 16-inch circular needles, so then you'll just switch from needle to needle. And I can show you, once we get to the crown shaping, I'll show you how that technique works. And I'll also show you magic loop and DPNs, so you can get a feel for what you might like best when working those smaller circumferences in the round. But now that we've got all our supplies, we are ready to cast on. I'll meet you back here. All right, so I'm back and we are getting ready to cast on, but I'm just gonna try to get you nice and close up here so you can see these little sparkles in the yarn. So it's super soft and these sparkles aren't scratchy at all. I know some yarns, they can be a little scratchy, but not this one. It is still perfect for kids and babies. And today we're making the little bear hat for a toddler in the toddler size in the pattern, and for that we'll cast on 60 stitches, and I'm using the long tail cast on method, so I'm starting with a slip knot. I'll do that again a little slower, so just wrap around my fingers and pull that loop through and then tighten it down on my needle, and we're casting on our size 7 needles for the ribbing on this hat. And so again, we're casting on 60 stitches using the long tail method. So I'm going to keep going, and I'll meet you back here when I've got those 60 stitches so I can show you how we join them in the round. All right, I'm back and I've got my 60 stitches cast on. Sorry for the needle change too. I realized that I only have my 24-inch cord with me, so for that set of interchangeables. So good thing I have plenty of needles on hand. Anyway, so we are ready now. As you can see, they're all spread out around my needles. So we are ready to join this in the round. So when we do that, we always want to make sure that we are not twisting our stitches. So I usually like to just make sure that everything is facing into the middle and that they're not twisted around. If your stitches were twisted, it would look something like that. You would see that edge wrapping around the needle. So, and now you can see that's all facing the same direction. So, to join this in the round, I've still got my really long tail here. So, I'm going to give that a quick snip just so it's not unruly while I'm working. And we're going to let that just hang out there. Get my yarn situated now. All right, and again, making sure that I didn't twist anything when I did that. And time to grab the stitch marker, place that. That's going to indicate our beginning and end of round. And for the brim of this hat, we are working in 1x1 rib or knit 1, purl 1 rib. So every round we are going to knit 1, purl 1, and continue in that manner all the way around. So we will knit and purl. Knit 1, purl 1. And we're going to continue just like that all the way around until we complete this round. So we are going to continue working in our knit 1, purl 1 rib for 1 inch for the 2 smaller sizes, that's newborn and baby, and 1.5 inch for toddler and child size. Also, if you prefer it longer or shorter, you can adjust there. So I'm back with my completed brim. This is the toddler size, so I have 1.5 inches worked in 1x1 rib on the US 7 4.5 millimeter needles. And again, if you're working the newborn or baby size, you'll only be working 1 inch in rib, and the toddler and child size works 1.5 inches in the rib. So now we are ready to switch to our larger needles for the main body of the hat. And I'm working with interchangeables, so that is as simple as sliding all my stitches onto the cord and just switching out my needle tips. But if you're working with separate needles, or you just have 2 different sized circulars or 2 different size double pointed needles, all you'll do is just on the first round of the main body of the hat, you'll just knit from the smaller needle onto the larger needle. But I'll get situated now. So I always work the first stitch before I do the needle switch, just so I don't lose my marker in the process. But at this point, all we're doing is switching over to stockinette stitch in the round. So that means we're going to knit every stitch on every round until we get to our desired length. Our hat measures from the cast on edge 3.5 inches for the newborn size, 4.25 for the baby size, 5 for the toddler, and 5.5 for the children's size. And you can also adjust that depending on the type of fit you like for the little one you're knitting for. If you want a slouchier fit, you can add a little bit there, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. if you like a closer beanie fit. I would say this is kind of a in between slouchy and close fitting beanie. There's a little bit of extra room in it, but not a ton. So if you want to slouch it and kind of scrunch it up, you could add a little bit extra in there. If you want a closer fit to the head, I would take out probably about a ½ inch. But otherwise, it's kind of the perfect length because then you can adjust as needed. As you can see in the pictures, we have for the pattern, some pictures have the brim folded up and some have it flat, so you can see the different fits. And that's also a really great way to adjust for a growing child, because not everything is all the same size. We are just going to keep doing that. You're going to keep knitting in the round until you reach the measurement for your size. And thanks for joining me. So I'm going to join you back in the next video when I've got my hat completed, the main body of the hat completed. And then I'm going to show you how to work the crown shaping and how to make and attach the ears. I'll see you then.